Hey everyone, thank you for joining us. We're going to be covering some questions about reopening that we've received throughout our weekly webinars. Today I have with me Sam Burgess. We're going to have a kind of a conversation just about what's going on with reopening, but also what you need to be looking for and going forward with reopening. The main thing to remember about reopening is that it can really be split into four cornerstones of how to reopen. You have to focus on four things. 1, sanitizing. 2, social distancing. 3, screening. And 4, face coverings. Those are the four cornerstones of reopening. You have to really, if you have that in those four things embedded into your reopening plan, that's a great first start. Just remember that. Those four things: face coverings, sanitizing, social distancing, screening. Focus on those four things. So Sam, one question that we've received quite a bit is it's about affirmations, right? You have to affirm the plans that you have to affirm that you're following the detailed guidance from New York State. How does that work?
So Katie, right now, New York State has put out, for every industry that's in phase 1, phase 2, and now in phase 3, they've put out detailed guidelines regarding what you need to be doing in the industry. Like you said, they cover them basically. They start with those four cornerstones, and you have to read through that and confirm at the end that you're complying with those guidelines. You go on, you affirm, you type in your business name, type in your address, and say you're affirming that you're complying with that. And a part of that affirmation is, you're complying with everything that's in there, which is going to be in your reopening plan, kind of like you've touched on. And for each of the industries, they follow those cornerstones. And then there's a few minute details in each, but if you stick with the cornerstones, that's going to be the focus of the affirmation.
And, one thing to really look at with those affirmations too is if you have, you are a manufacturer and you have office space, right? You need to put an affirmation in for your manufacturing component of your business and also for your office space of your business. So something to remember there is you have to have the two separate affirmations, but you don't necessarily need to have two separate reopening plans. The reopening plan, if you've made it big enough and robust enough that it can cover both office and manufacturing, you can have just one. But, best practices, probably to have two. It depends really on the size of your business and what's going on. One other thing we've really run into a lot, Sam, has been the certificate of occupancy issue. Can you just, lay out for me what is this certificate of occupancy issue and the maximum occupancy issue?
Yeah, so the maximum occupancy, and most of the place that we're talking about is 50% maximum occupancy. And the questions come along several times of, what is our maximum occupancy? Either, we don't have a maximum occupancy listed. Is it 50% of our employees? Is it 50% of some other number? And what it comes down to is, one, if you have a certificate of occupancy, it's 50% of that. So if you are acting at a capacity well below 100% when you have all your employees there, it doesn't mean you need 50% of your employees. You can come up to 50% of that max occupancy. And also with that is, if there's separate rooms that have max occupancies, you should follow those as well. And, some bigger offices, some bigger workspaces might have, a meeting room that has a max occupancy, and you just need to make sure to follow all of those. But again, it comes back to the certificate of occupancy number, if there is one. And I think you can talk about this too, Katie, but if there's not, there's ways to look at it. And then also in some of the different industries which are just coming out, like with the bars and restaurants, there's some exclusions regarding, when employees are included or when they're not.
Yeah, and one thing to really focus on here too is if you are a business or an entity that does not have a maximum occupancy number listed on your certificate of occupancy, what you really want to look at is, how am I going to maintain social distancing in my space, right? Really think about that, because that's the crux of this issue here. Say you have an office space that doesn't have a maximum occupancy listed, but it's a conference room and it can only fit, 10 people total in there. Well, how many people can be in that conference room at one time while social distancing can be maintained? Those are the questions you really want to be asking yourself. We are not, most of us, we're not building inspectors. We're not fire inspectors. And luckily for us, the mandate, the guidelines say the number you have to follow is what's listed on your certificate of occupancy as the maximum occupancy. If you don't have that number, we don't have any guidance right now about what to do, but the thing to do is maintain social distancing. That is the key. Keep people 6 feet apart, work out your space to do that. Sam, do you have anything else you want to throw in there?
No, I don't think so. I think that's great. Just thanks everyone for continuing to come along this ride with us, and we'll continue to provide updates as they come.
We've been here with you since day one, and we'll be here with you until it's over.